Welcome to Finish First Financially. Goran Radanovic here. I've got a question from Reddit, which I'm going to read and then I'll give my take on it. Obviously, not financial or investment advice. It says, live in an inherited house I can't afford. My grandmother passed 3 years ago and left the house to my mom. I lived in the house with her and split the bills, but she also passed a year later. I've been working my ass off to pay the bills and mortgage, but I have a semi-low paying job with no degree. I make roughly $36,000 a year before taxes, working a full-time job and a part-time job once or twice a week. The mortgage is $1,100 with property taxes and insurance rising every year, plus at least $1,000 in other bills, leaving not much left for groceries, gas, and car maintenance. The tricky part is that the house isn't in my name. My grandmother's will states that the house should be left to me if anything were to happen to my mom, but I'm in the process of trying to go through a probate. I don't have money for a lawyer and no family in my state to help me. I really want to sell it, but I'm afraid I won't be able to ever afford a house in the future. I have a long-term, semi-long distance girlfriend that lives an hour and a half away, but she has a career in a city that she just got a promotion at. So asking her to drop all of that isn't feasible. I feel like I'm drowning. Any advice would be helpful on what to do. Okay. So you're actually in a very good spot. I think probably even a better spot than you might think you're in. First of all, the fact that you're paying only $1,100 for a mortgage, and that seems like it includes the property taxes and insurance, then that is definitely a good rate to own a home, at least paying a mortgage every single month, instead of selling the house and then you're going to end up renting for, at the very minimum, that amount, possibly even a higher rent. So just from that perspective, you obviously want to stay in the home. Now, you're struggling financially to keep afloat. And since you live in the home alone, you must have at least another 1 or 2 bedrooms that are empty. And there's no reason that you shouldn't rent it out. Rent out both of the rooms. If there are 2 rooms, if there are more, rent out even more. But there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to get at the very least $400. I mean, that's the bare minimum for each room. When I wanted to reduce my expenses, the first thing that I looked at was reducing my rental expense. And I lived in a nice place. And, having my own freedom, not having to share the space was wonderful. But that didn't help me to reduce my expenses. So I made the sacrifice of sharing my space with somebody. And what I did is I rented a room from an elderly couple. And when I rented from them, they had a 3-bedroom place. They took obviously 1 bedroom, I took another bedroom. And my rental for 1 room was half of their rent. I mean, they had a great deal that they were also renting out, and their rent was really minimal. And they, when I paid them the rent, that was half of their rent. So imagine if they had another tenant, the 2 tenants, myself and the other tenant, would have paid off their rent. So in your case, if you can get 2 tenants at the very minimum $400, you can probably get even more than that. But even if it's $400, 2 tenants are paying $800. That's more than 2/3 of your mortgage. So it definitely makes sense from a financial perspective to stay in your house and to rent out those rooms. That's going to help you financially. I know it's not the best situation to share a living space. You obviously want your comfort, you want your own house to be for yourself, but you're not in that situation at the moment. And the thing is, by renting out your place, you will have eventually money to accumulate for the lawyers, and you want to get this probate hearing as soon as possible so that the house gets transferred into your name. But if you were to sell it now, you probably most likely are going to go, and the thing is, you can't even sell at the moment because it's not even in your name. So you need money now, and the most likely avenue is to have people rent out rooms to people so that you can get some money, transfer the house into your name, and then Why would you want to sell the house? I would not in your situation, especially because your mortgage is only $1,100. That's and you've got a house for that amount, $1,100 in most states in America, you're going to be paying for a 1-bedroom place. So to me, it makes sense to stay, to rent it out, and obviously get the house into your name. If you want to learn more about how to reduce expenses, how to save money, and how to pay off debt faster so you can have a great retirement, check out my book, From Homeless to Debtless with Savings. I'll put a link in the description below the video. I wish you all the best. Until next time.